Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. I'm Rick Bucher. He's Jim Jackson. Whitlock and Wiley are off today. Coming up, we'll tell you if the NBA needs to step in and fix the Knicks. But first, we're joined by a couple of former NFL players, Brady Poppinga and Stanford Routt. So let's start in New England, where the soap opera that is the Tom Brady offseason took another turn yesterday. Tom Curran of NBC Sports is reporting that Brady spoke with Bill Belichick on the phone on Tuesday about his impending free agency, and that the call wasn't particularly productive, and that Belichick was speaking to Brady as if he was still under contract. Adding to the intrigue, Brady spoke to his good friend, UFC President Dana White, and Dana pleaded with Brady to come to Sin City.
We want you to come to the Raiders. You know I've been pitching you now for a month. I love you too. Come on, brother, get to Vegas.
Thanks, man. I know it's been a lot of patience for me. And obviously being where I've been for 20 years, it's been an amazing experience. And I don't know what the future holds right now. I'm just trying to be patient through this process, my first time going through it. And in the meantime, I'm going to spend a lot of time with my family over the next 10, 12 days. And we got a little vacation plan, which I'm looking forward to.
All right, Jim, after hearing that, does Tom Brady sound like he wants to return to the Patriots?
Okay. Yes, I think he sounds like he wants to do it. But this is, Stanford and Brady, you understand this. He's saying the right thing.
Brady's already chomping at the bit.
I know, because he's saying the right things. He's saying the right things, towing the company line. But also keep in mind, this is new for Tom Brady in this situation. He said it in regards to where he's at in his career. Before, when players were in and out of free agency, what they would do at New England Patriots, would they come back? He was asked a question, what do you think this player needs to do? Can they help the team? It was always the other side. It was never really directed towards Brady. He didn't have to answer the question. He didn't have to think about it in terms of his future. This is still all new to Brady in regards to being the one that has to answer the questions for himself. So I think he's walking the line delicately, saying the right things. I believe he would want to finish his career in New England. But at the same time, he's looking at other options. I'm sure he's looking at other options. But he's doing it the right way. He's towing the company line. He's saying the right things. Oh, I've been here for 20 years. I don't know what the future may hold.
Right.
I'm going on vacation with my family. He's doing all the right things.
So
but
PC.
I do believe this is unfamiliar territory for Tom Brady. That's why he's strategically walking the line, keeping his Tom Brady-esque presence at bay and at hand.
And you hit the nail on the head in terms of him being strategic. Because that's all this is. Because there's no way he sounds like he wants to go back to the Patriots. He's like, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for me.
Right.
Basically, he's sending a message to Bill Belichick saying, hey, I'm a free agent. If all of a sudden somebody offers me more money, I might go there. So in our contract negotiation, let's keep that in mind.
Right.
Make sure you're giving me what I am worth in the marketplace, not some discount, because that's what the relationship had been for the last 20 years.
So if you believe the report that Belichick talked to him like he was still under contract, does that worry you that Belichick is not doing what Tom Brady wants, which is sell me on why I should come back?
It doesn't worry me, but it just shows you that's just how Belichick operates. That's his culture. He doesn't believe there's one player above any other, and he's going to negotiate hardball with him. That's why, Tom ended up taking the discount. But at the end of the day, if Tom's going to get what he wants to get, which is as much money he can get in free agency, he has to play this kind of game where, hey, I don't know if I'm coming back. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
I think Tom Brady wants to go back to New England. I think right now he's getting that nostalgic feeling, but he also understands that the possibility of him going to another team is also very, very real. Kind of like all of us have been in a relationship where we know breakup is imminent. And obviously we see that, okay, we know what's about to happen, and we're thinking, you know what, I'm going to move on to bigger and better things. It's going to be better on the other side of the fence. And then you have that moment where you come back and you're like, you know what? Am I going to be able to find A, B, and C, X, Y, Z out of the next person? Am I going to be able to find that happiness? And that's where you start to realize it may not be greener on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously we see he's saying all the right things right now. He's about to go on a vacation with his family, things like that. But I think Tom Brady knows that the perfect fit is for him in New England. And no matter where he goes, whether it is Los Angeles, whether it's Indianapolis, Tennessee, it's not going to be a perfect fit. But he also understands the nature of this business, that it's a very real possibility, but I think he wants to stay in New England.
And I'm with him, just so you know, I'm with you on that. I believe he ultimately wants to stay there. But the thing you have to realize, to maximize your value, you got to maximize your market demand.
Sure.
And the way to do that is you can't say to the team that you really want to go to, I just want to go to you.
Got to play the game.
But you got to
like Drew
come
Brees
across.
has done with the Saints.
Well, it just basically diminished his market by saying that he wants to come. Now, I would take it a step further, too, because if you're New England, okay, 20 years, Tom Brady, been there.
Yep.
You've had backups in the past that were ready to take over. Yep. Okay, Matt Castle was there, Jimmy G, but they're not there. When Montana left, you had Steve Young in the wings, okay? When Brett Favre left, you had Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you're New England right now, Tom leaves.
Right.
This is great.
Who do you have?
And that's why
his leverage has never been greater.
So this is what I'm saying. So strategic from your perspective, oh, yeah.
Right.
I love to come back because now I'm not telling you what I want to do, but you know that if I do leave, you don't have somebody else waiting in the wings to step in, kind of like my Steelers. Okay, and I feel the same way with Ben.
Right.
You don't have somebody. So there in itself, without even saying it, is Tom's leverage.
Yeah. No, look, I feel like in listening to this, it's a little bit like, remember the blue dress, the gold dress?
Oh, yeah.
Like the optical illusion. Right. You hear what you want to hear. For me, he sounds like a guy who does not want to return, but doesn't really know what he wants to do because he's struggling with the idea of pulling that actual trigger. It's one thing to say, I want to play the field. It's another thing to say, I'm going to go and I'm going to leave the place that I've been for 20 years and I've had all this success. It sounds good until you get right to that precipice, and then you have to measure everything and say, okay, are we really doing this?
And that's the thing. He's in that purgatory right now. He's caught in between, and that's why I think that ultimately he's going to find himself back in New England because new city, new head coach, new owner, new organization. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow when you're 43 years old.
Sure.
I think that familiarity is going to win out in this situation, and he's going to find himself back in New England.
You know, I think the other element here is both Brady and Belichick, at least the way they're playing it now, they get to entertain the idea of, I get the chance to show what I can do without the other guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's to prove who's better, because I don't think you'll ever prove that. You're going to two different situations now without the other. But that idea that, you know what, I could go to the 49ers and I could show, you know what, I'm not just about Bill. And Belichick's meanwhile saying, you know what, I didn't have Tom, but look what I did. You can't tell me that that's not enticing to both of these guys. All right.
I'm going to say this, just to button this up. To ever pretend to think that Brady doesn't know what he's doing, I think is a lie. He knows exactly
or that it's calculated.
what he's doing.
Right.
Yes.
He's been with Bill Belichick. He's seen Belichick give these terrible press conferences where literally if you ask Belichick a question, he'll be like, what'd you ask me that for?
Right.
To where he basically controls the narrative, and it's all a strategy. And he sat there and he's taking notes on it. That's what he's doing now, is he's implementing his strategy.
Yeah. All right, as we all know, one of the potential landing spots for Brady is his hometown 49ers. Tom Curran is also reporting that San Francisco has interest in the 42-year-old quarterback because head coach Kyle Shanahan has reservations about current QB Jimmy Garoppolo's ceiling and his overall decision-making. Jim, Garoppolo just led the Niners to the Super Bowl. Is he getting a bad rap during these Brady sweepstakes?
Is he getting picked apart is also a question.
Okay.
Because in today's world, it never satisfied, even though Jimmy G is young. Because what you're seeing now is, yes, he took him to the Super Bowl. Let's back up. When he first got there, 5 games, everybody loved him. You couldn't peel the onion back yet because you didn't have enough content. You didn't have enough film.
They were a losing team, and he came in and he did great.
Everything was, the polish was new. This was the brand new toy. The next year, you kind of got a chance to see him play. So then you started to critique his game a little bit more, nitpick here and there. This year, even though he got to the Super Bowl, it was some things down the stretch, down games. Can Jimmy G really lead this team? Unfortunately, it's part of the process. that no matter if Tom was in this scenario or not, they would still do it with Jimmy G. They would still nitpick and figure out ways to say, okay, is he really our future quarterback? I mean, and that's unfortunate. Now, it's on a grander stage now because now you're comparing the 20-year vet with Tom Brady compared to this young guy who's up and coming and saying, well, if we had Tom right now, oh, we could win it because Jimmy can't do this.
Right.
And that's a tough situation to be in when you're Jimmy Garoppolo from a couple years ago where the shine was just, oh, he's the next.
So to be clear, you think he's being treated unfairly? You think he's getting a bad rap? You think he deserves better?
I think he deserves the chance to continue to improve himself. But I do understand where today's world is because right now, it's not the patience part of what people want and organizations want is not there.
Oh, no
It's
question.
not there. Before, when you were a quarterback coming in, oh, we're going to give you 3 to 5 years to figure this thing out. It's not like that anymore.
I'm not sure you really answered the question.
I did answer the question.
No, you did not.
He's getting the bad rap. He's getting picked apart. But that's part of what today's society and sports is.
Okay, well,
Well,
the
I'm
bad
gonna
rap
tell you-
says that he doesn't deserve it.
I'll tell you the question.
Okay.
He's not getting a bad rap.
Thank you.
And look at the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
The guy, Jimmy G's getting pressure. His defense is the strength of the team, the running game. What does he do? Closes his eyes and throws up some Hail Mary. And if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm looking at him like, are you serious?
We almost went there. He probably did say that.
Animated.
He said something like that. A little bit more strong. But the point when you see, Kyle Shanahan say stuff that's being reported that he questions his decision making and all that kind of stuff, it's all true. Now, has he had flashes where, man, he could be like an elite, fantastic quarterback? No question. And that's why, obviously, if you're the 49ers, you're going to take a look at Tom Brady, but you're not going to go all in and just completely compromise your franchise to get Tom Brady because Jimmy G still got something there for you. But you're not going to pretend that this guy's, as good as Tom Brady. That's the bottom line.
I'll go ahead and paraphrase what he was just saying. Hell no, he's not getting a bad rap. He's getting an objective rap because when we look at everything from the time Jimmy G got traded to the San Francisco 49ers, we all saw John Lynch give him that massive contract. Everybody's like, oh, my God, so much money. But then we see he left an escape hatch in there. That way they could get out from under that deal with minimal penalty going forward. Well, then we see Kyle Shanahan automatically just throws him the keys to the offense. And guess what? He arms him with a really strong defense. He arms him with a run game. You notice how on almost every play, you play defense just like I did. There's always, a shift, there's a motion, just to go ahead and confuse you for that one split second. That way they can go ahead and get the ball up the field, whether it's throwing or running, what have you. So you can clearly see throughout Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, throughout all of their process with Jimmy G, ever since he's been with San Francisco, you can see that they have a tempered level of confidence with him. So I don't think this is a bad rap. I know I've been in this situation. I'm not sure about you, Jim, or you, Brady, but anytime a great player becomes available, that's when you find out truly what your organization really thinks about you. They tell you all the time, hey, we love you, you're a good player, this, that, and the other. But when another great player becomes available at your position, that's when you really, truly see what they feel about you.
Right. And to be clear, no, he's not getting a bad rap because all of this is accurate. And you talked about those flashes. Those were regular season flashes. He was a slightly above average quarterback during the regular season. That's the reality of it. We keep saying he led them to a Super Bowl. No, he didn't. His usage was way below other quarterbacks. Look what they did in order to get to the Super Bowl. What he made? It was 6 to 8 completions.
National NFC Championship game.
Yes, very minimal. So for me, no, he's not getting a bad rap. And the distinction, Jim, is this isn't the up-and-coming guy. This is a guy that we already gave the big contract to. So now we're weighing it against that. And if you're looking at the 49ers for where they are right now, I'm looking at it and saying, we have a chance at winning a Super Bowl right now. What's the one missing piece that we have? It's a quarterback that we believe can get us there. And if you believe Brady can be that missing piece, then you are going to say, you know what, Jim? It was nice. We'll move on. We'll take Brady for a year, and then we're going to go back to the drawing board because we're not buying what we bought.
Yeah, but I'll say this. Even though he is, he's not getting a bad rap, he's had his moments, he is coming off an ACL. I don't know if you guys have come off an ACL. That second year is always an adventure because you're still trying to gain confidence in that ACL, and especially if you're a quarterback, you're stepping into those throws. Sure. And he's still got some stuff that you can fix. It's not like these, no-look interceptions aren't fixable. Right. There's stuff that you can work on and ultimately clean up his game. But at the end of the day, no, I mean, he should be very well be under the radar in terms of how do we improve in this position. Is it through him? Is he going to develop? Or do we bring in Tom Brady, who can immediately inject the credibility?
Let's say this, shoot, nothing happens. We're players, we played in this league, and, I've been traded before, and rumors are this. If nothing happens here with Tom Brady, where does it go with Jimmy G?
Yes,
what's the next conversation from the organization? Because you can say all you want that, no, we weren't really actively looking at Tom Brady. I don't know what the conversation from the organization with Jimmy G right now, but is there going to be a little backlash from Jimmy's side once this thing kind of plays its hand and it doesn't happen?
I think because it's Tom Brady and because it's the GOAT.
But still, you got an ego as a player.
No, absolutely.
I don't care if it's Tom or not.
True, no, absolutely. I had a very big ego as a player, but I also understood that there are other players who are better than me. So if my team is trying to trade for one of those guys, I got to go ahead and take a look in the mirror and be like, you know what? Yeah. I don't like the way that I'm being slighted. I don't like the way I'm being treated. But you know what? If I take myself out of it.
I ain't taking that look.
I'm sorry. If I take myself out of it, I got to go ahead and be objective.
I'm young. I think I can get the job done.
Absolutely.
I don't care who comes in.
Yes.
You're trying to trade me for this player. I don't like it.
Sure.
I don't care who it is.
No. You're not going to like it, but you understand it from an objectivity standpoint.
Here's the reality of it. If they're feeling some kind of way about Jimmy G, if Kyle Shanahan has doubts about Jimmy G already knows.
Yes.
That the jury is out.
You know.
You read
you watch shows like this.
Look, just the way.
Oh yeah.
Time now for a big story sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken and Donuts. Get them with tenders for $5.49 or as a sandwich. Order at KFC.com. Patrick Mahomes took in the Zion Williamson-Luka Doncic matchup last night in Dallas with a lot with his mind. The former MVP and now Super Bowl winning quarterback is eligible for a contract extension that is expected to make him the highest paid player in NFL history. That's why it was a little surprising to hear Mahomes tell Yahoo Sports that even with a major payday looming, his main focus will always be winning football games, saying, quote, "Obviously, I want to get a contract. Obviously, I want to provide for my family for a long time and do everything like that. But I want to make sure I do it the smart way and do it the right way. And so I don't know exactly which way that is yet. I know that my people and the Chiefs people will talk about it and will do it at the right time and for the betterment for the team." Jim, would it be smart for Patrick Mahomes to take a hometown discount with the Chiefs?
No, and no.
Said like a true player.
Okay, you remember Marshawn Lynch said, take care of your chicken, take care of your money?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're Patrick Mahomes.
And your donuts.
You're the youngest QB under the age of 25 to win an MVP and a Super Bowl. You have to take care of that now. Prime example is who we were talking about earlier. It's Tom Brady. Hometown discount. Oh, you won Super Bowls, you've done all that. You'll take care of me sooner or later. It don't work like that. It does. I think right now you're in a power position to ensure everything you talked about.
It worked pretty well for Brady.
No, I'm talking about in regards to him giving back money.
Right.
Okay?
I'm going to say it worked pretty well for Brady.
Him, I'm saying for this young man here, he has an opportunity to take care of everything he just talked about in that statement right now. And whatever happens after that is gravy. Okay, in regards to his future as far as money, future contract. I'm of the auspice always that you put the onus on the team to figure out what they need to do, especially when you're in a power position. See, because now you're sitting here with that face again, okay? and again, I'm going back to as a player, okay?
You give me this face, okay? Let's just make that clear.
I'm glad I give it to you because I'm going to talk to you from a player's perspective. I always, when I'm in a power position, and you don't know if you're going to have that again, injuries, trades, whatever may happen, coaching changes, organizational changes, you just don't know. But if I'm in a position now where my contract is up and I'm talking to Patrick Mahomes, I'm saying, yes, I get what you're saying, total company line. Go get your money. Go get your money right now because you don't know what can happen tomorrow.
Well, let me ask you this.
Ask me.
What if you had option A? You get the highest, most lucrative contract in the history of the NFL. But the future for you ever getting back to the Super Bowl, being a contender, is minimal. Option B, okay, you give him a little discount. We're maybe talking $5 to $7 million over, 5 years.
That's $35 million?
35 total,
okay.
but that's before taxes.
I don't care, but it's still 35 you're not getting it.
Before taxes.
I like your math better than LeVar's. Let's just say that.
Yeah, okay, before taxes. But you're now able to build a team around you to where not only you can, parlay this last Super Bowl, but you can contend for more, win more Super Bowls. And let's just say in the option B, the likelihood of winning another Super Bowl is almost like it's probably going to happen.
You're still
just saying, forget it, I'm going for the money?
I'm telling you, you know why? Because it's not even guaranteed if we do all that, we get into the Super Bowl. What's guaranteed is when that check comes, I got it and I deserve it. Now, I think you can be creative in regards to what the team does to get the right kind of player. They're going to have movement no matter if you sign the contract or you get a discount. They're going to still have to kind of make moves and do things salary cap-wise.
Well, hold on a second, because there's actually been 2 models of this over the last 10 years. There's the Tom Brady model, which you guys already mentioned. Right. It's worked out pretty good. Won 3 Super Bowls in 10 years. Next guy is Drew Brees. How's he done? Not very good. Just barely got back to the playoffs, and the reason why is?
Because
you tell me.
Okay,
you're gonna finish my statement.
No,
go for it. And it's actually, because they drafted well. It's not because they were able to build around him, but they were actually able to draft well.
I like what both of y'all are saying. Number one, Jim, because you basically stole my thunder of what I was going to say about Tom Brady in the last segment. You see a multitude of years, Tom Brady has given the Patriots a hometown discount, and throughout the years now, what is his biggest gripe with New England? He feels slighted. He feels underappreciated.
I don't think it's that. I believe he doesn't feel appreciated. I don't think it has to do with the money.
Tom?
Oh, do you know Belichick's meetings? Imagine going into
he rips Tom in the meetings sometimes.
Tom Brady like you wouldn't imagine. And I think he's kind of sick of it because, I've been carrying an organization for like 20 years.
Didn't take less money?
Yes, he did.
So it's a lot easier for him to take the hometown discount, right?
Okay, yes, but hold on. Brady.
I mean,
hold on.
Go ahead. I got two people looking at me. Go on and top.
To the question you just asked, I would take B, simply because we all know in this league, you want to leave with 2 things. You want to leave with money and memories. If you can go ahead, snag you a Super Bowl, some Pro Bowl, some hardware to boot, then you know what, that's great. We see that Pat Mahomes has the hardware to go ahead and show that he has the ability, he has the golden arm, all of that. He now has a Super Bowl, so he has the memories. There's one thing left on the list. It's the money. You got to go and get that record-breaking contract because, like what you just said, not everybody's going to have that New England type of situation where you win 6 titles in 2 decades. Okay. He's already won 1. Yes. He's already got Super Bowl MVP. He's got MVP.
How long has he been there?
And he's only been there 3 years.
Exactly.
2 years starting. So now you got to go ahead and cash in because if you take that discount right now, not becoming the highest paid player in the league and then taking the hometown discount like Tom Brady, if you take that hometown discount right now, on some level, the Chiefs are going to start to look at you like, you know what? We know that we can always get him to take the discount. Exactly. We know we can always get him to go ahead and be the good guy, be the good soldier. You have to set you have to set that precedent right now. Simply because if you don't, you are going to be dealing with this down the line.
Here's the distinction. And in almost every case, I would say, look, go get your money. You don't know when you're going to get injured. Nothing else is guaranteed.
But we all know he does have, after this season, a history of injury.
Okay. But he also has a history of being with this team on a very short timeline and already having been league MVP and already having won a Super Bowl and been Super Bowl MVP. Yes. Brett Veach and Andy Reid have demonstrated that they can put a team around Patrick Mahomes that is going to win a Super Bowl. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, and this is where the distinction is as a quarterback, and this is why I don't understand why this Tom Brady thing is, the Patriots have done him wrong. No. I mean, look at the Super Bowls. And as a quarterback, you have the opportunity to make so much money in endorsements off the field.
So now you're going to get the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott.
No.
Here's the thing. You're speculating what could happen. But
based on what's already happened.
But that's...
You've already got me to a Super Bowl.
That's another... You're talking about New England. Another team, another situation, another organization, another set of circumstances.
Yes.
That doesn't transfer over here just because you want it that way. What is guaranteed is when you sign that contract, you're guaranteed that money. Whatever else happens.
Only the guaranteed money in the NFL.
Well, I said that guaranteed money.
Well, it has to be.
You see what I'm saying? But
absolutely guaranteed.
You have to take. You have to listen, Rick. You have. And again, you have to take care.
You don't have to.
Yes,
you don't have to. No.
Yes,
you don't have to because look,
yes,
he didn't. When he first came into the league, he said, I'm not going to do endorsements. I'm not going to do commercials. Right, yeah. My focus is going to be on becoming a football player. So he did. And as a result, in Kansas City, they're already building a statue for him. Look, if I'm
they're going to take it down if he gets his money, they're going to take the statue down?
If I'm in L.A., if I'm in New York, you're looked at as a chump if you don't get the most money. That's the mindset. We're talking about being in Kansas City. This is barbecued meat and baked potato country. This is where if you say, I'm going to take less because I want Travis Kelce to get taken care of. I want Tyreek Hill to get taken care of. I want an offensive line that's going to protect me and keep me upright so I don't get injured, as opposed to, look, his bank account.
And a defense. Don't forget the defense.
His bank account can't protect him on the field.
No, it can't. But let's go ahead and let's not overlook one very, very important thing about this entire postseason out of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, obviously, Rick, you and Brady, y'all are saying that he should go ahead and get the hometown discount. And because he has the opportunity to win more Super Bowls because he can have a better team around him. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now, what's the likelihood of the Kansas City Chiefs winning another title? I'm going to ask both of y'all. What do you think?
It's greater if you take a discount.
Okay.
So aren't you going to play the probabilities?
It might be greater if you take a discount.
It's
but
not might.
Hold on, wait a minute.
It's been
divisional round. 24-0 in the second quarter. AFC title game, Tennessee Titans. They're down by 10 points in the second quarter. San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. They're down. So it's not exactly like Kansas City. It's just set up to go on this historic run of winning Super Bowls.
And yes, even more so, you need cap space to keep
there's a little bit of luck.
I'll tell you what, they have less chance. They have less chance if I'm giving all the money to one guy.
Absolutely. Exactly. But now that they've already got that ring, they've got that chip, if you are Pat Mahomes, go ahead and cash out. Not cash in, cash out. Because
he will.
Even if they have the perfect team around them, we still see that Kansas City, outside of a 24-point blown lead by the Texans, and believe me, I live in Houston, Texas, and believe me, the fans down there still cannot believe that they lost that game to that guy after being up by 24 points. So it still is going to take a certain level of luck and good fortune. You've already got that in the bag. Now it's time to go get that other bag.
The bag.
I like the jewelry. I like the jewelry, and I like the opportunity to make more money. And by the way, off the field, again, because this is only going to strengthen his brand by taking this approach. And let's be realistic. Hold on. But let's no. Hold on.
I think the brand has to do with that golden arm he has.
He's already a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He already has personality. Him taking a discount is not going to strengthen it. The marketing people know how to push the narrative in regards to who Patrick Mahomes is, whether he takes the money or not. The marketing money, they know how to push that narrative. Whether he takes a discount or not, it's not going to improve his brand.
Aaron Rodgers ain't been to the Super Bowl since the 2010 season. And correct me if I'm wrong, does he or does he not still have that discount double check endorsement going? Yes.
That's because they're still contenders. Have you seen Drew Brees on a number of different outlets of getting all of his sponsorships and stuff?
I know Drew Brees with the New Orleans Saints is still always.
I'm going to tell you this. No, he won't, man. If he stops winning Super Bowls,
Drew Brees right now with the New Orleans Saints are not always in the playoffs.
We're going to agree to disagree, and then we'll come back and we'll realize that I was right.
Rick wants a discount. Get money back. He'll work for free for Fox.
Joining us now is three-time NBA champ and current agent B.J. Armstrong. Let's talk some hoops. Two of the NBA's biggest young stars collided last night as Luka Doncic and the Mavs beat Zion Williamson and the Pelicans in overtime. Luka dropped his 14th triple-double of the season with 30, 17, and 10. As for Zion, he finished with 21 points and seemed a little gassed playing on the second night of a back-to-back for the first time in his career, and also a career-high 35 minutes. Jim, put your GM hat on. Which young star would you build a team around? Zion or Luka?
Luka. I mean, and again, we're getting small doses of what Zion could be, okay, in regards to where he's going in the future. His game will continue to improve. But for me, if I'm a GM and I'm looking at how to structure my team in regards to winning championships and who's going to be that leader, okay, I need someone who's versatile, who can command the double team in regards to on the perimeter, okay, that can also make plays for his teammates. And Zion can do a lot of this. But what Luka can do in regards to open space, knocking down jump shots, the passing ability, but also the upside in regards to where he goes, how he creates for his teammates, okay? There's not a lot that you can take away from Luka on the court. He can beat you off the dribble. He may not be over athletic, but he can get to his spots. He can pull up for the jump shot. He can shoot deep. He can finish inside through contact. He gets to the free throw line and is very efficient there. So when you're talking about an all-around player that gives you versatility in your game planning, it's Luka from that perspective. I kind of look at, I think, Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins. Here's a comparison in regards to what you have. Dynamic score with Dominique, but Larry kind of gave you something different all the way around. Do I think the involvement of Zion will come? Because we're getting small doses.
Well, that's what I was going to say is why you seem certain or not
you're asking me today.
Like, I know, but Zion is an untapped potential.
Right. But I don't know if he has the same. If I'm looking at a team.
So you're going bird in hand.
I'm going bird in hand right now. Okay. Will Zion eventually grow? Of course. But if we're talking about today, I know what Luka can give me and what he provides to a team and how he opens it up for his teammates. I know he's over here looking at it.
yeah. Can't wait to get in on this. All right.
Well,
what do you got, agent?
If I'm building a team, agent, what have you, I'm building it with Luka. Mm-hmm. You hinted on it with his versatility. You know, there's 4 qualities that we look at in building a team. There's speed and quickness. I think those checks go to Zion. But there's size and length. When Luka is going to be 30, 31, 32, he's still going to have tremendous size. He's going to be 6'7", and he's a big man. And he's a point.
Zion's a big man. I mean, 6'6", 280.
6'6", I mean, but if Zion loses a little bit of speed and quickness.
And athletic ability.
His game completely changes. Luka's game is not going to change. Luka is a very interesting player. It's because we can't speed him up.
Yeah.
Luka's been around the league now, and no one can speed him up.
Right.
I am really concerned watching him play because he plays the game at a championship pace right now as a young player in this league. Right. You can't speed him up. You know, he reminds me of a player that you covered, and I played with, Chris Mullin.
Sure.
Right. We're not going to – I used to always joke with Chris, when are you going to lose a step? Because we don't know when he's going to lose a step. Luka just is moving at his pace. Right. You can't tell. And Luka plays the game at a championship pace as a, 22-year-old right now.
Brandon Roy was like that, too.
Right.
Zion, the one attraction with Zion is from a box office standpoint.
Yes.
If my business ops are in the meeting, they're probably saying, hey, let's rethink this. The other concern that I have with Luka is, like, he is playing at that pace. He looked beat up to me last night. Like, physically, I am concerned about his – we talk about Zion and have questions because of the knee issues. I have some questions about Luka in terms of can he maintain that body. I know he can perform, and I would pick the same Luka on that, but I actually have issues. I have questions about both of them and their longevity because of their physical –
Right. And I get that too, but I think what favors Luka is what kind of favored Dirk.
Right.
Okay? That his game is going to be his game. Let's say Luka gets injured. He's not relying on quickness and athleticism to be able to get his shot. He understands how to create space in order to get his jump shot and to get his spot. So he's not relying on that in order for his game to be very efficient. Whereas Zion, again, he's still learning.
Yes.
He's going to learn the intricate ways to not always have to power through and use his athleticism. But if he doesn't develop the other core of his game, if that athleticism begins to dissipate.
Well, we already saw it last night. I thought the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, he's a little tired from that back-to-back.
But they didn't let him feel the defender. They made a point of laying off him, and you can tell that Zion wants to feel you and then make his moves. And when he doesn't, he was tripping. He was taking a fat mid-range jumper. Like he looked like a different player. And so, to your point, yes, he's going to have to evolve. All right. Well, the NBA is celebrating Zion and Luka. One former NBA great thinks the league needs to step in and fix what's happening in New York. Charles Oakley weighed in on the Spike Lee-James Dolan controversy after Spike says he will no longer be attending Knicks games this season after MSG security hassled him for using the wrong entrance at the arena. Oakley said, quote, "The NBA has got to take a look at this. You can't keep closing your eyes to this. If I'm an owner in the NBA, this guy headlines every other month, every other week with something that don't have nothing to do with winning. All right, Jim, you agree with Oakley? Does the NBA need to step in to fix the Knicks?
No, because they can't. In regards to setting, we talked about this yesterday. You can't set a precedent because Jim Dolan is not running an organization the way you want him. If he was affecting the bottom line number-wise revenue for the rest of the league in regards to how he operated. Now there's cause for concern and owners can get together and say, listen, this is affecting not only just the Knicks, but the overall revenue generation in the league, okay? So as much as you want to do, and I used the Sterling example yesterday as a precedent here, it was something egregious that was done that allowed the owners to get together to say, we can't have this.
Right.
But for years, they understood that Sterling wasn't going to pay money. He wasn't going to improve his facilities. He didn't care because the revenue that was shared among the teams was getting distributed, the TV money.
And going into his pocket.
It was going in his pocket. As much as because if you do it with one person, now, okay, what about this owner over here? Yep. He's not doing it. This owner over here is not doing it. Now the NBA can't just go out and say, okay, Jim, you need to sell the team.
Well, you know, I think it was Shakespeare who said, the drama belongs on the stage. We continue to talk about the New York Knicks and everything that's happening off the court, right? We're talking about everything other than what they're doing on the court. I'm gonna try to give you a little, secret or a little behind-the-scenes look here. Every executive in the league understands that the New York is a very attractive job. It's a very attractive job in many ways, right? They've drafted well. R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Trier, Knox, they've drafted well. They have excellent contracts to work with. All their players are on 1- and 2-year deals. They don't have any poison contracts that are just long-term, right? They have an ability. It's New York City, so free agency is going to always be there. Every player is a brand, but we also understand that New York is not for everyone. Okay, and then when you look at the
big that, they have not been able to land a big named free agent.
I get that. They haven't been able to land, but it's available. Everyone in this league knows that if you go to New York City and you win in New York City, that's a different animal all into itself. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact. And then they have young players who we know from within could be really good players in a year or two. R.J. Barrett could be an all-star. Mitchell Robinson he's shown flashes of what they're doing. Every executive understands in this league that that's a very attractive job. And we have to give the people their credit because they have made it attractive of what they're doing right now.
But I'm not saying fix the front office. And to your point, yes, I know that you can't move Jim Dolan. Fix doesn't mean remove Jim Dolan. But look, the NBA once upon a time, one of its slogans was, it's fantastic. You have Jim Dolan, what he's doing is he's going after fans, including one of your most visible, Spike Lee, who loves the Knicks and loves the game of basketball. He made a freaking movie about it, for God's sake. That's who you are disenfranchising. That's who you're alienating. So from a PR standpoint, the league has to publicly, and I'm sure privately they've made a call, but publicly you have to say, we're going to talk to Jim Dolan.
About what? About Spike Lee?
Yes, about how.
That's not a league problem. That's an individual.
No, this is a league problem. No, the perception that Jim Dolan can abuse and abuse any fan that he wants, the ticket buying public that he can.
You're talking about with the other fans too.
Yes, the whole package.
Okay,
the whole package.
I'm speaking about Spike Lee. I'm talking about you talking about the whole package with.
But Spike Lee leads the parade.
Yeah, no, but I think.
Well, wait. Why is Spike Lee different as a fan?
What I'm saying, okay, what is Adam Silver going to do? Allow Spike Lee to come back through the employee interest?
It's not that.
You saying they got to make a public statement that says what?
That we are talking to Jim Dolan about what's going on with the New York Knicks.
Okay.
Nothing may change. Nothing may change. But the NBA, in saying nothing, suggests that they are quietly condoning this behavior. And it's gone to the point now with who you are. Look, if you want to fire GMs, if you want to mistreat coaches, even former players, if you want to do all that, okay, it's not a good look. It's stupid, but I can't stop you. But when you start to take shots at fans, when you start to mistreat the people that support your franchise and your league, the league has to say, okay, we need to talk about this.
So you're saying fix it from from a public perspective, not getting rid of.
Can't get rid of.
So that's where I'm looking at.
Show that you care.
I'm looking at the question in regards to kind of getting rid of, because I know Oakley's like get rid of him. You're talking more so from the public perception perspective.
Yes.
I get that. I agree with that.
Speaking of, when I turn gray, I hope I look as good as Charles Oakley. Man. Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Take it away, Darnell.
Yes, sir. Let's move to New England, where Patriots fans are nervously waiting on Tom Brady's free agency decision. Julian Edelman is definitely doing his part to keep his longtime QB in the same huddle. Last weekend at a basketball game, he said Brady is, quote, coming back. Now Edelman is selling Stay Tom 2020 merchandise on his website for $29.99. Fans can get a combo of shirts, pins, and coffee mugs. Brady even got in on the action, asking what his TB12 company is getting out of this, tweeting out, quote, how much do we make on our Julian Edelman merchandise? I assume this all evens out. So I want to ask you guys, do you have an issue with Edelman cashing in on Tom Brady's offseason?
Yes, I do. He's made $40 million in earnings. He's selling these T-shirts for $29.95. How good would it look on the flip side if he made these T-shirts and these bumper stickers and he was giving them away, or he was having a raffle, or he was providing them for Patriots fans to push this idea? It would be worth its weight in gold as far as just his image with Patriots fans, right? You know who he is? He's Johnny Drama from Entourage. He's always coming up with these crazy schemes. He's always getting into these scrapes. He's always in these like relationships that show up on Instagram. You're like, what the hell are you doing? In fact, Wahlberg is a Patriots fan. I dare say, I wonder if he looked at Edelman and he goes, I think I got a character.
You know what? I thought about this at first, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure Tom and Julian had a conversation about he's going to do this. I don't know about how the money is, and even in Tom,
$29.95 for a T-shirt.
Why you got to be $29.99? You know what I mean? $30. Make it easy. But
not as intimidating, right?
Right. It's like I'm not spending 30, but it's just 29. But it's funny. But even in Tom's tweet, he said, "Are we splitting this joke and ha ha ha?" But it's really like a little. It's a little dig, like, bro, you making money off of. Off of me. Yeah. So I like what you're saying, that if he's really genuine about it, just make him, give him out. But $29.99, make it $30.
I don't have a big problem with this, simply because we see Julian Edelman, Tom Brady, they're really, really good friends. They're always hanging out at the Syracuse game over the weekend, go on vacations together. So I would imagine if Julian Edelman was to do this, he got Tom Brady's approval, or at least an okay from him before he started doing this. So I'm not going to take too much of an issue to it. Yes, I agree. He could just go ahead and give it out for free. But because he's actually advocating to keep his quarterback in-house, saying keep Tom Brady here 2020, I'm going to go ahead and just give him a pass on it.
I have no problem with this. And again, I think we're underestimating the intelligence of Tom Brady, because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot use somebody else's likeness or image without their written consent and make money off of it. Tom Brady has given him his written consent to make money off of this. Why? He really wants to go back to New England. That's what this is all about.
Oh, we're circling back.
Yes, this is what this is all about. This is him telling his buddy, hey, man, go out and sell these. And I don't know if he told him, hey, I want to come back to New England. We got to kind of build this up. But he absolutely gave him permission to do this. It will help him, because any pressure that comes from the outside to Bill Belichick, to Robert Kraft, who ultimately has the last say, is good for Tom Brady, especially if it means, hey, we're going to pump in a little bit more money to pay him market value.
So are you buying one? Are you dropping the 30?
I don't know if I'm going to drop the 30. They're going to have to give it to me for at least maybe half price or something like that. Give me a little discount.
Darnell, we like free 99.
$3.99.
We like free 99.
I don't want to play.
I'm a Colts fan, so I want him to leave.
I'm a Steelers fan. Go to the other side.
I don't want to play conspiracy theorist, but I mean, for all we know, TB12 might be actually getting a portion of the proceeds.
Well, they might be. I'll tell you what. My whole opinion on this changes if they're sending my man Darnell a free Tom Stays T-shirt.
Yeah,
he should.
We'll support it on it.
He want leave time. He want a leave time T-shirt.
Yes,
all right, Darnell, is there a Super 6 contest for the XFL games this weekend?
Yes, sir, there is. And before the games kick off this weekend, be sure to download the Fox Sports Super 6 app for free for your chance to win up to $10,000.
Brady Papinga and Stanford Rout are back. Let's move to Tom Brady, who has dominated the NFL offseason chatter with everyone wondering where he will play in 2020. Brady said he doesn't know what his future holds, but that hasn't stopped several teams from being part of the rumor mill. But now another team might be in the mix. The LA Times is speculating the Cowboys should, quote, be taken seriously in the Brady offseason decision. Jerry Jones hasn't locked down Dak Prescott on a long-term deal, so the Cowboys' QB situation is still in flux. So, Jim, should Jerry Jones consider signing Tom Brady?
Of course. You should look at it. I mean, I think it gives you a little bit leverage in your negotiations also with Dak in regards to having someone in the waiting in the arms. I mean, because if Tom Brady is available in the marketplace and you're the Cowboys that want to win now, just like San Francisco, you look at an opportunity to improve that. Yes. Not that the Cowboys from a marketing perspective need it. I mean, because they're still, despite not winning Super Bowls, the most popular football team there is.
Yeah. But so beyond leverage, though, let's say Brady says, oh, okay. Ooh. Now, are you pulling the trigger if you're Jerry Jones?
I would. I mean, you got one of the best running backs. You have a great offensive line. You have receivers. You have defense. You have all the components. You kind of got a new coaching. You got a new coach, but you have an experienced quarterback. Okay, if you want to win now, the Cowboys are all about winning now. Yeah. They want to win now, so why wouldn't you pull the trigger if you have that opportunity?
Their defense is terrible. Yeah, I would not even. Okay, let's just talk real.
I see you, Brady.
Yeah, their defense is terrible, and football-wise, this would be a horrendous decision because you got a guy in-house right now that could be your quarterback for the next 10 years in Dak Prescott. You bring in Tom Brady, the best you're going to get out of him, 2 years. And on top of it, you got a guy in Dak Prescott that you brought up through the system. And Stanford, you know how this is.
Yes,
for the team culture, you got a guy you bring up through the system, you finally reward him. It is a tremendous morale booster for everybody because they're like, man, if I go out and play well, listen to the coaches, good citizen, they're going to pay me. They're going to compensate me. So on all levels, this is not a good decision except for one, business, because it's always good to see Tom Brady and
exactly.
You know, but
and
like you mentioned, business success in the NFL doesn't align with field success. Right. And the Cowboys are an expression of that.
Jerry Jones should definitely consider signing Tom Brady. Now, should Tom Brady consider signing with the Dallas Cowboys? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Tom Brady married to Giselle?
Yeah.
Does Tom Brady look like the type that wants to date a Kardashian of any sort? Exactly, because the Cowboys, come on now, we know they're a spectacle.
Where are you going with this?
They're America's team. But Tom Brady is used to stability. He's used to actual organization that actually is committed to winning, that is going to be buttoned up, that is not going to go over there and always believe that all publicity is good publicity. He's not a part of that regime. He's not a part of that mindset. I don't think Tom Brady would even like being a Dallas Cowboy because they are so much more worried about the spectacle. They are so much more worried about the circus that comes with everything. Jerry Jones is not the type of owner that Tom Brady is probably going to be able to get along with just because Tom Brady is used to winning. He's used to excellence. Yep. The Cowboys since, 95? Have been pretty much a joke. Yes, they've gone to the playoffs a couple times, but I don't think Tom Brady would even entertain this just from a mindset standpoint and what he's used to in New England with everything being buttoned up. He should consider it. Jerry Jones should consider it and then decide that it's not a good idea. And this is different. This is different than the 49ers. I am open to the 49ers making that move because I believe their team is on the cusp of being able to compete for a Super Bowl. I do not see the Dallas Cowboys in that same category. Yeah. And so for all the reasons that you guys stated about what Dak Prescott has done, I don't have a problem with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. I have a little bit of an issue of how much he wants to get paid and what that whether he's up to that. But that ultimately is a different thing. The one thing that I would like, though, is Brady would, to your point, like Dallas could learn a lot from Tom Brady. The value of having Tom Brady in my building for a year or two and learn this is what winning situations do. This is what winning quarterbacks do. Again, I wouldn't do it, but that is very enticing to me to have a guy like Tom Brady be able to instruct us as far as how have the New England Patriots done.
He started laughing when you said in the building.
Because immediately what I was thinking is what Tom Brady would suggest is that Jerry Jones would need to fire himself. I don't want Jerry anymore. Because Jerry Jones is not the answer. Yes. You got a non-football guy in there making a lot of football decisions, and a lot of times it undercuts the coaches, and even the front office in terms of player acquisition. I was there. I mean, I went to Dallas thinking, okay, this like man, this is kind of a circus. Then I got to know the front office, the coaches. I was like, these guys are phenomenal. I was like, why don't they have more success? And then all of a sudden, you get Jerry floating in, and he's got his buddies and his guys, players.
Radio show every
And basically, it doesn't matter what the coaches think. It doesn't matter what the front office thinks. He has the final say. If his guy's in there and he likes his guy, even though there may be a recommendation to get rid of his guy, he's not going to listen to him. And that's why you got the Dallas Cowboys at where they're at. So I think it would be a bad thing for both sides. I'm with you. And
well, let me ask you a question, though. If you talked about his guy, he said Dak is his guy. Why not the long-term deal yet? You've been there.
It's money. It's still money.
Okay.
That's what it all comes down to. But I mean, if it was the right price tag, you'd give him, a lot of money. But the thing is, Dak's smart. Dak gets the whole, off-the-field earnings thing, and then he's got that insurance policy of a loss of value. So if all of a sudden he does get hurt, he has an insurance policy to catch up for him. So, the bottom line is Tom Brady is not going to the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think so either.
Let's just get to that.
I think Jerry Jones would love to have Tom Brady there just from the notoriety standpoint and everything that would come with it. Like the marketing would be even more than it is right now with the Dak Prescott. But outside of the marketing, outside of the glitz and the glamour, Tom Brady, he's a nuts and bolts guy. I don't think he would go for it.
This is the most delicious part of it for me, that if they did make this move and they brought Brady in, Jerry Jones is on the record of saying, I would no more get rid of Dak Prescott than I would Stephen Jones, my son. So I'd love to see the cameras coming to Stephen Jones. Like, oh, my. BJ Armstrong is back. Let's talk some hoops. Sponsored by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. The league's top 2 MVP favorites, Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James, will lock up tomorrow night at Staples Center in a possible finals preview. LeBron is showing no signs of slowing down at 35 years old. He's averaging just over 25 points a game and leads the league with nearly 11 assists. Giannis was asked if LeBron's age-defying play has inspired him.
He just leads the path for us. A lot of times we think that, okay, we're going to retire at 35, but seeing a guy at 35 being still top 3 best player in the world, that makes us want to be there, makes me want to be, there one day. So I gotta keep taking care of my body, eating the right way, being healthy, and as I said, he paved the way, and hopefully we can just follow.
All right, Jim, is Giannis praising LeBron before Friday's matchup the smartest way to win?
I'm kind of confused about this question because Giannis doesn't care. It doesn't matter. I think the question is it the smartest way to win?
Yes. I think it is.
I'll
go ahead and answer it. I'm not going to lay out.
I don't think it is because I don't think it relates to anything he's thinking about in regards to winning the game.
No, but it might be about what LeBron is thinking about.
Well, no, I don't think so.
If you go out there and you take the same approach to LeBron that you have with James Harden, now you're adding a little fuel to the tank, are you not?
No. Here's the thing. I think in the league itself, and BJ, you can speak to this. When I was younger, we would get asked questions about the veterans in the league, and we would always admonish their greatness. Not because I was trying to win a game. No, I'm not Giannis, and that's perspective to control everything. It wasn't meant for that. It was meant for the respect due to the players that have paved the way. Giannis is going to be Giannis no matter who he plays. I don't care if it's James Harden, if it's LeBron, if it's KD. I don't care. Giannis is going to give that up and still go at his neck. But he's going to also give respect to the guys who have paved the way. And he talked about that at 35. Who thought he'd be playing like that?
Sure.
I wish at 35 I'm still playing like LeBron is playing. But that doesn't mean that this is a tactic for me to try to win the game.
Right.
He believes his team is better anyway, and that's how they will win the game.
Sure. I'm going to ask, did you play with Andrew DeClercq?
Yes, I did.
At Golden State?
Yes, I did. Oh, that's a name under the pass. That's a name.
So I wish I could remember who the player was that he made a comment about. But it wasn't necessarily complimentary. He's just another guy, right? And that dude ate DeClercq's lunch with the Warriors. And DeClercq, after the game, this is when we sat at the scorer's table, came over and he slammed the scorer's table. He goes, damn it, why did you have to write that, right? So,
but that's DeClercq to Giannis. That's a whole different.
I get that, but my point being that it can be fuel. I mean, look, Jordan, you know this.
Right.
Jordan would look for those things that would motivate him. You didn't even have to say anything. If he thought you were disrespecting him, he would.
Do we dare say now that Giannis is moving into superstar category and he's very aware of the words he's using in the press?
Right.
You know, at All-Star Weekend, he got in a little thing about whatever he said about James Harden. And now I think he's more aware. Giannis now, I think we're treating him like a superstar. What Giannis says is Giannis. I think Giannis used this opportunity to play respect, as he should. But also, let's admire that LeBron is pushing the envelope of saying what can be achieved at this age. Because back in the day, at 35, no one was playing at this level this late in their career in year 17.
True.
So I think it was a respect. You admire what he's done. But let's be assured, when Giannis hits that court, Jimmy,
oh, yeah. He's going for his neck.
He's going at him.
You said we're treating Giannis like a superstar.
Well, I think Giannis now is moving up the ladder to where, you know, he was in Milwaukee and he would say things, it wouldn't get the national attention.
Okay.
Now what he's saying is
everything
he says is, you know what, it's bullet board material right now.
You know what this tells me is that the battle between Harden and Giannis isn't about the MVP. It's not about the best player. Because right now, Giannis and LeBron are in a battle for MVP.
Right.
There's something a little different about what's going on with Harden and Giannis. And that's not Giannis's natural approach, is to get into these wars of words or whatever. So on to another superstar who's coming back, Steph Curry. He's expected to return tonight at home against the Raptors after missing 58 games with a broken hand. But Steph isn't coming back to the same Warriors. These Warriors have only won 14 games and have the NBA's worst record. Jim, do you have an issue with the Warriors allowing Steph to play in these meaningless games?
I don't, because if it was a lower body injury, ACL, Achilles, ankle, I would have a little bit more concern just because of the probability that something could happen with a lower leg injury. But because it's his wrist, he was able to stay in condition. His hand.
And the little wrist.
Little wrist when he came down. But because he was able to stay in shape and really continue his movements and not be regulated, not sitting, just sitting and not working out. I like it because I think for Steph, the long-term play is I need to get back and trust what I'm doing and also get a chance to get into rhythm this summer at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Also for next year. Okay, so if he plays these games in the G League, comes back, plays a few games with the Warriors, he gets a chance to play with some guys. They're going to be back next year, get a chance to develop some chemistry with Wiggins, okay? But also in his mind as a player, I like to know my rhythm. I like to get my rhythm back. It may be meaningless in the record book, but for a guy that wants to be able to get on the court and play and get back to being the kind of player, you got to go out there and test it.
Yeah.
And you test it by playing in these games. And when I was in Golden State, they talked about this from Steph's perspective of why it was important that they slow walk this, but still allow him to be able to dictate what he wants to do.
You know, I'm a big Steph Curry fan, as you know, Rick, and this is another example of excellent leadership. You win championships at this level because of internal leadership. And when you're ready to play, Jimmy, you and I have been in locker rooms. When your best player is healthy and he's not playing, you're violating the rules of the game in that locker room. And Steph Curry is ready to play, regardless of the records.
Push back on that, but
regardless of the record, you have to play. The business may say one thing, but the locker room and the players who play and put on that uniform, it's easy to play when we're going for a championship. What's difficult to play is when, you know what are you really playing for? And we can say the business says he shouldn't play, get ready for next year. But we've all been in those locker rooms. And when you violate the principles of the locker room, you never get that back. And Steph Curry, this is excellent. I love what he's doing. And if he's ready to play and he's healthy to play, he is setting the tone for next year, Jimmy, like you said, and I think that's important.
It speaks to his leadership.
Absolutely.
And I fully understand and appreciate and respect that Steph Curry doesn't care that they have the worst record in the league. He wants to come back and play. And he's just itching. This is who he is. He loves to play. But the idea that he's completely healthy, this type of injury, we've been told by medical experts, takes 9 to 12 months for you to get their feeling fully back in your hand. He has said, I've got numbness in there. I'm going to have to find a way to manage this thing. For 20 games left, when you have the Olympics to be able to come back and get into a rhythm for next year, I can't help but wonder if what is motivating this, and again, Steph can want to do it, and the team can say, look, we know you want to come back. It's not worth the risk. We're not going to sign off on this. In the same way that Kevin Durant wants to come back and play in the finals, and you go, we'd love to have you back. It's not worth the risk. The team has the wherewithal to do that, and then you're not losing the leadership aspect of it because Steph wants to come back. Steph can say he wants to come back. Everybody in that locker room can know he wants to come back, and the team is not allowing him to come back because they're looking at it, at the big picture. The fact that 6 of the next 7 games that the Warriors play are on national TV, and 13 of their last 20. And the fact that they've been in this brand new Chase Center that is asking top astronomical figures. Trust me, I know some of the people who are paying them. That this is that little carrot to these people who've spent all that money this year is at least you get to see Steph Curry before the end of the season. I can't help but feel like that is determining how the team is approaching this. And to me, that's the wrong reason to do it.
Well, I think what we're saying here is this is where the business meets the sports. The business of sports is coming together. You know, there was another example that we had some years ago with Michael Jordan when he had the foot injury of should he come back or should he not come back?
Right.
In the end, we have to pay the respect to the athlete. When the athlete says he's ready, Steph Curry, you know what? Steph Curry knows what he's doing. But most importantly, what he's doing to all of those gentlemen that are in that locker room, to me, trumps all of this and what we're saying. Yeah. This man is coming out and playing. He's leading. He's doing his job. He's ready to play. And that's much respect to anybody who puts that uniform that goes out and play night in and night out in this league.
A lot of guys in that locker room that are not going to be in that locker room next year. Uncle Jimmy is off today. Let's talk Patrick Mahomes, who is in line for a huge contract that can make him the highest paid player in NFL history. But Mahomes said he wants his deal to be for the betterment of the team, leading to speculation he'll take a hometown discount. Jim, what's your approval rating for Mahomes?
The upside for this young man is incredible because he is so young. So job performance, I'm going to say 22. And I say that because even if you talk to Patrick Mahomes after his performance, he's going to tell you there's room for improvement. All-time great 18 because he's still young. I think at the end of the day, he'll rewrite the history books and will be there. Character, 23, no doubt, great young man. Authenticity, 25 on character. Authenticity, the hometown discount, do whatever, go get your bag. I think he really wants it. I think he's towing the company line. I think he's towing the company line on that.
You're giving him a discount because he's willing to take a discount?
That's right. That's right. I don't think it's all the way. So it's 85, but he's still a GOAT.
I got to go across the board. I'm giving him, look, I got a 25 job performance. You can't get better than winning the Super Bowl, right? 21, just because we haven't seen enough of him at this point, but he's well on his way. But everything else, character, 25. Authenticity, I love every bit of that. By the way, the Twitter approval rating, you're with me, GOAT status.
He was a GOAT on mine. He's a GOAT. He's 80, but he's still a GOAT.
That's it for us.